Okay, perfect. So this one's actually going to be a really short one because there's not really that much to talk about. We're going to go through any pairs that we can look to trade towards the end of the week. But we just had some big dollar data there and we had US dollar CAD position. But unfortunately that actually took us out at stop loss. So we were minus 2% for that. And it looks like it was going to hit take profit. Let's see. Yep, it did. It hit take profit. So that's unfortunate. It obviously hit the stop loss before it actually went off to hit take profit. It's annoying, but there's nothing that you could really do. And we got caught out by just making our stop losses that little bit too tight. We're currently in no positions right now. As you can see, we did have a big watch list, but some of them have just not really moved to fruition or gave us an entry, either in a buy or a sell. So we'll go through them. Just very, very quickly. We're going to keep this very short. Again, you can see that dollar data really pushing into obviously the dollar pairs. Negative for GBP USD, the cable. So it's pushed that out, that consolidation zone. So what happens now? Keep an eye on the dollar index too, to wait and see, is this bullish price action being respected, and could this actually develop into a medium to long term trend? But we're going to have to be really observant across all the dollar pairs right now just to make sure, and obviously double checking on the dollar index right now. We're not really seeing on anything on 𝗙F/JPY, GBP Aussie. Again, nothing really setting up on that. GBP JPY could have had a nice setup up here, but again we've missed it. That was a nice double top actually. So, but we are across quite a few pairs getting to that contraction phase. We're really squeezing in and we're moving sideways and we're not really doing much. And at the back of that, you always know there will be that burst of momentum and possibly even a new trend. But it might even be a continuation. But you need to just understand that sometimes the market will be in these phases, and if there are any trades, try not to look at the computer too long, because you will try and make things fit that really just isn't there, just because that you feel like you should be active and be in the trades, but really that's just, it's fast way to lose money. You should actually trade less. I've actually made more money trading less than I've ever made trading more. So again, obviously you're paying spreads every single time that you put a trade on, so the broker obviously gets some money, and every single time you put on a trade, no matter how good the analysis is, there's always a risk of losing money, and that luckily enough is up to you, or sometimes unluckily enough. Again, silver, but we didn't get in that. Euro USD, again, same theme, been very bullish, and for pairs like the Aussie US dollar, Euro USD, NZD USD, of course it's going to have a negative impact. But on USD CAD, USD Swiss, and all these other dollar pairs, pro dollar pairs with the dollar at the start, not the latter, those are the ones that are actually going to be in congruency with the dollar index, and they're actually going to be rising up. So if we just quickly go to the dollar index, actually you'll be able to see, again, we have really taken off, and of course we just now wait and see how high is this actually going to go up, because we know it's going to have to retrace eventually, and then based on that retracement we'll be able to see, has the buying momentum been respected? Are we going to get that stalling towards the end of this push phase, and then we get that pullback phase, and then another little bit of stalling, just really confirming, right, okay, that these levels are being respected, whether it be this one or whatever ones that we planned to draw on any dollar pairs in the future, because there's going to be kind of, as you can see, I think that was on NZD USD, it was just the reverse. It's just the absolute reverse of what we were looking at on even just things like this, like then the dollar index. We had that consolidation, and then we've just shot right through the side of it, right through the top of it, sorry, and then of course on NZD USD it was just the exact opposite. We shot right through it, we shot right through this support zone, and then of course Euro USD, that also shot through a support zone. So a support zone. So now what we're going to be looking at is there any trades that we could be taking right now, and if not, how could we best prepare for what's actually just happened? And what has actually just happened is, of course, was the FOMC minutes, and that had obviously a huge impact on price action. Obviously, in a bit to really trend, we can't come back down immediately and retest the area with which it left, because if it does that, then of course the buy momentum isn't actually strong, and it has just been a fluctuation in the markets. But something as powerful as the FOMC minutes, these are literally live minute by minute updates on predicted future and outlooks, not just outlooks on their perspective, but outlooks on the market's perspective. And what the outlook is typically the driving force, not typically what happens. It's what's been forecasted and what's actually happened compared to the forecast. So if something's better than the forecast but it's still, worse off, you've actually went down a little bit. It's just you've went down a little bit better than expected. That still can be a positive thing for currencies. And that's one thing some people, I think, when they're tying in fundamental news and trying to trade fundamentals along with the technical analysis side, that's when people start to come into problems, because they think that because it's went lower that's bad. Actually, it has an inverse effect if you actually pay attention to what that meeting or what that news event is actually telling you. So EuroCAD, there's nothing really there. NZD/JPY, nothing really there. I mean, we were sort of just waiting. This is a sort of little area that we would like to see price action be squeezed and pushed up, like that ABC wave that you do see there. But again, nothing really setting up, and this is quite a big, this is quite a strong bearish candle, and it's coming into a support zone, and price is just continually getting lower and lower and lower. And typically what happens if this is in sort of like an ascending triangle formation, it can typically break through. That's the more probable action here. But considering just the angle and the fact that we're not touching, although more recently we are starting to make more touches. So if in this zone here we start to make more touches and still continue to move down, then we are going to break that support, and we can look for setups that could potentially lead to some good downside. So